So I'm going to make a kind of first impression video here of version 1.6. Even though it's been a few weeks, I really don't feel like I've played it enough to understand everything that's happened, because some significant changes have happened. So let's go over what's going on here. So April 22nd, 2025, this was when the patches released, and most notably this is the Mirror Ace patch. And so it's 5 new courses here, which are Mirror of Ace, but they're kind of more highly designed than the previous mirror tracks, I would say. Like they really add some uniqueness to these, and especially we were all worried about Mute City 4 just being another Fox track, but they really improved it into what's essentially, I would say now it's whoever gets the Skyway at the best time track more than a zipper track. So it is what it is. I guess it's even that way. I don't know. I kind of still have to play it out, but it's just, you know, because of how the last turn happens, for some reason the Skyway on the last turn of Mute City 4 is the Skyway cuts sharper than it does in any Mute City course, if you notice that. It kind of cuts into the curve rather than being around it. So the Skyway is highly effective there, and that's why people go for the 4th lap Skyway there to finish it off. And some other noticeable changes around all the BFF0 machines, so you can unlock all the colors and decals for those machines, which is cool because now, you know, the machines do look better with different decals. So I've been playing as the green Amazon, but as in my color red, so I really like how that looks. And now Fire Scorpion actually has different color shoes, which makes it look good. And just in general, I like how all the BS machines can look with different decals. And now going into the other adjustment changes here. So this is where it could get significant. All machines, the Super Sparks required for the trigger the Super Boost, which we call a Skyway, has been reduced. I believe the original number is 63, and now it's probably maybe 10 less, 53. If that's not accurate, I hope someone writes that in the comments. Increased the amount of time for the Skyway from 4 seconds to 5 seconds. So this is significant because this is where extensions come into play, especially when you distance yourself from first place. I guess most notably is the ones like on Firefield, is you getting that extension over the second part of the hairpin turns is really a big extension, and it passes over a brutal red. So like on some laps, well, if you're Stingray, I guess now you would want to just get as fast as possible because you get the extension. But in general, the extension meant a lot, because a lot of times you get trapped in really bad situations because you don't get the extension, and you would intentionally sandbag so you would get the extension. So that's very notable. And increase the speed in traveling on the Skyway without touching the wall and using the Skyway dash blade. Yeah, so this just makes the Skyway now is longer and faster. So that's and you reduced amount of sparks, so that's a triple buff to the Skyway. So that's pretty crazy. That's a lot of things to add at once. I'm not sure how they really calculated all of that into one change. That's a lot of changes, kind of a gamble of machine bounce, if I would say, because that's a big change in a lot of different ways, but we'll see how that plays out. So that's why part of the reason why I really couldn't give an analysis on version 1.6, because that changes the game in a lot of ways. And here's a very notable one from Blue Falcon: reduced amount of repulsion colliding with other machines. So it's really the horrible part about being Falcon, is just it felt like there was just no hope for it in the pack. You go in the pack and then you're driving, you just couldn't maintain full speed there. You just constantly be getting your speed knocked down to like 400 and keep getting if you tap someone and front bumped them, you just kept getting rejected backwards, and it was just like unplayable. So if you ever get stuck in the pack, you know, it was just like, why would I play with a machine that just gets completely destroyed that way? So now it can handle it more. You definitely feel stronger in the pack. And kind of the same thing here for Golden Fox, reduce the amount of damage received and slightly reduce the amount of repulsion when colliding with other machines. It really is noticeable. I've played both Falcon and Fox a decent amount of time since 1.6, and it used to be before Golden Fox, when it wasn't in a boost state, if you even like went near anyone, you just got ragdolled. So it's you can survive a lot more collision, and this is how it really always should have been. And the part now we just have to kind of figure out is how does the Skyways play into all this, and now with Fox could get more sparks in the pack. So, you know, that's something that's going to have to get worked out on all the courses. And here's a KO change. The amount of power meter increased when you KO another machine will decrease with each KO after the first one. So the advantage gained by the getting my KOs early on a world tour will be balanced. The maximum power meter from the stacking KOs remains at 200. So it's essentially just diminishing returns. The first one's kind of equivalent, then it kind of slowly drops down. In my personal opinion, I kind of like, really after 4, you're kind of just like pushing it, because you're kind of getting like the good returns still. Then it starts diminishing, so I still feel good getting that many. Where it'd be kind of like overkill before. If you had like 4 KOs with Goose before, I mean, you were just like completely unstoppable. Then if you get anything after that, you could pretty much just have infinite boost. So now it takes more, and really, I mean, once you're getting around like number 10, like you're just getting such a slight return that is just like they're kind of not impactful. Like I said before, the finale tracks were at the classic races, so that's been a lot of fun. And to just have those in the general lineup makes a difference, because it, you know, kind of takes away some of the other courses you kind of just get stuck with playing in Classic that don't really play that well. In Classic, it's kind of like whoever reaches top speed first automatically wins type of situation. So I really enjoy the Classic more now. I've been playing it more, and playing the Classic Mini Pre even more to, you know, experience the Ace courses that now have been added to Classic. So let's kind of touch base on each machine, kind of how I feel like what's happened with 1.6. So, like noted here, reduced amount of repulsion when colliding, noticeable knockback reduction, can play better in the pack, reduced speed loss from collisions, front part knockback is significant. So, even if you aren't a Falcon main, and you've kind of just played it once in a while, and you kind of didn't want to play with it because you just got, you know, pinballed all the time and got wrecked, you know, maybe you'll enjoy it now. I think there's a place for Falcon. Sometimes I really do prefer having the agility of Falcon on some courses, but it just never really feels like my best machine. So, you know, maybe you'll be more willing to play it now with that. The Skyway buffs, front run is dead. So Falcon kind of had some front run potential in some courses. I'm not sure if it's completely erased. Mute City 4, you can still front run. It's possible, though, you're going to get cut off now. I just haven't seen enough of it. I don't really know what the exact times are of the other machines now, if the Goose Skyway is going to be that powerful where it's going to catch up, or maybe you just slightly sandbag with Falcon, so you get a Skyway, because you do have to hold a boost with times with Falcon, and you don't get the extra boost you do with Fox, so it was always slightly slower. That's what I'm thinking, maybe just like a minor sandbag to get sparks in a Skyway might be better. We'll see how that plays out. And in courses that maybe you wanted the front run before, like it is possible, like Whiteland 1, it was kind of the hybrid track. If you get a really good start, and you know, you could get like, if you need sub 2, obviously, so if you were capable of that, then maybe you'd front run, but maybe you won't now. So it's kind of some question marks going on, and it might even add a potential Skyway here. So maybe you used to always have a 1 Skyway plan with Falcon, but maybe now it just has to be a 2, because the Skyways from the back just catch up quicker, and it might change that meta. So the hybrid machine is going to have to hybrid again and adapt to these changes. We'll see how that plays out. And Golden Fox in 1.6. So as we mentioned before, all the changes with the collision repulsion was really helpful. You can play in the pack to get your sparks now, which is helpful, and you really do need a Skyway. Like, it was just kind of the same thing with Falcon. You have Mute City 4 now and the Whiteland 1. I think it's cutting off some of the other ones that were more doable, or not even necessarily getting first place, but just not having the pack run into you. Like on Red Canyon 1, you're going to be seeing all the machines getting sub 140 now. And that's like a god tier time, if you ever got that with Fox. I'm not sure really many people ever did. Like, it really takes a perfect run to get that. So other machines are getting to get the Skyway extension. They don't have to wait as long to get for you to be going past that corner in first place. Now they have that second extra extension, so that time's going to catch up to you, and they're going to Skyway all the way down and then through the double corner cut there. So it's going to be a problem for Fox on a lot of courses like that, where the extension plays a factor, and not just the extension, the Skyway speed. So it's really cutting into Fox's front runs there. And kind of going into regular courses with the Skyway strategies here. Times where other machines are too fast now, triple buff Skyways. Fox will require well-timed Skyway, maybe even 2. So a lot of times, really, the best strategy in 1.5 with Fox, especially if you're in a stacked lobby, was just really to kind of get a Skyway slowly built up, and then that Skyway would give you enough kind of space to save some energy and gain some ground, where then you could front run out of it. That might not be a thing anymore. I mean, it changes course to course, but I don't think it's going to be enough on a lot of courses. So let's go into near Mute City 1 here and see what happens when I used one Skyway. Alright, so let's check out this Mute City 1 with Fox here. Not the perfect front run opener there, but that's actually, for how things are going to be, it's actually kind of what I was going to do anyways, because I was going to build up the Skyway and then just do the front run after the Skyway. So let's see if I can pull it off. Skyway into the triple zipper around the curve, so that's really good. And now the machines are still with me. So normally at this point, I would have been alone in 1.5. I'm going to try to boost through them. They gotta run out of fuel, you'd think. So unfortunately, I had to kind of play that slower than I wanted to, because I was low on energy. I didn't really have enough to take a tight curve there and boost, because I would have been depleted. And you can see the pack is now caught up to me. I mean, this really wouldn't have been the case in 1.5. So I had to play safe, because I kept getting, I'm taking collision damage, and I wasn't able to play optimum lines because of the pressure from the other machines. It's just, this wasn't a factor, so let's see how it ended here. So now Goose got a sub 155, and the other machines that followed. So Goose and Stingray, they're Misa with a 155. But the Goose is getting low 155 and even a sub. Those times are unheard of. These times are faster than Fox 1.0. Like, Fox 1.0 was getting like mid 155 with a really good run. And that's maybe even, that's with dry boosting. So that's how fast all the machines are now. That's how much the Skyway buffs and all the buffs that have followed since 1.0 have really helped the other machines, but not Fox. Well, I guess with Fox now, you really, in my situation, I would have had to double Skyway on Mute City, which is unheard of with Fox. That's if you completely butchered a race with Fox, then you would have to double Skyway, but it could be the norm now. And this was with 69 players. They were good players because it was just following in a mini pre that wasn't full, but I can't even imagine if I had more pressure than that. I barely survived. And, let's see what my time was. So I had a 156 because I really couldn't. My time got kind of prevented there from playing optimal lines. So because of the pressure, I really couldn't race the best I could. And you can see now what it takes to win one of these races. Either maybe I'd have to have a better opener there and then delayed the Skyway. Maybe if I had the perfect opener and then banked on the first set of Skywayers, I could have built up my Skyway later rather than sooner than boosting into danger. But these are the dangers now of Fox, where you can't just kind of milk the opener for sparks and then Skyway to freedom. You have to really play out the entire race at the brink of death and playing in the pack and getting sparks. And moving on to Fire Stingray here. So there was no balance changes directly to Stingray, but the spark changes in Skyway will impact Stingray here. So with lowering the number of sparks required for a Skyway, Stingray will now be able to get out of the back quicker, and Skyway will be longer and faster. So the problem only with this is good for Stingray, but the problem still happens if you're too far back. You only get leftover sparks from the pack, which always been the problem with Stingray openers. So it comes really back to the jump pad opener, which I've been complaining about since, really the first time you ever use Stingray and had to deal with the jump pad opener. And you just get, you never get to participate in that race because you start, in last place and you're so far back, you get no sparks. And then if you boost, you might have to boost, twice to even start getting sparks. And by that point, you're too depleted to even do anything after that. It's like this, whole cycle of just a situation you can't get out of with Stingray. And so that maybe it'd be a little better to get out of that, but if you're in the pack with getting optimum sparks, you can get enough sparks. I've had Skyway before the opener's even finished now. It doesn't let you launch if you're still in the opener, but it's still how crazy it is. And if you're a Stingray, you might really have no sparks, while the other, some other machines are ready to use a Skyway. It's a problem. It's more so just an opener problem that really needs to be fixed. So hopefully this helps, and aside from the jump pad situation, I think this will help Stingray get out of the back. And actually, if they start normally midway into the pack, then they'll have a good way out, and Stingray breakaways are really powerful. So if you do on the other courses where there's better openers and you could get optimum sparks and Skyway out, it's possible Stingray can get a breakaway after that. So I've seen some crazy Mute City 2 times already. People, I forget what the number was, but it was just times you don't see. And it's happening on other courses, on fire fields, where they get that early Skyway now, and they don't have to wait for people to be distanced, and they have the extensions. So This does help Stingray. How much it helps the other machines versus Stingray, I'm not totally sure, but I like the changes, at least for Stingray. So we'll see how that plays out once we get to play more of the other GPs more often than this been in the cycle of Mini World Tour and Miraes. And now the main machine of the game, Wild Goose. No balance changes to Goose this time. And let's look at how the Skyway buffs interact with Goose. Goose always depended on Skyways. Now it's going to be easier for Skyways and don't have to intentionally stall as much to get important extensions. So this is a Goose buff because it's the Skyway machine, and now you could do different extensions without spacing from first place. So this helps it. How it impacts Skyway time, Skyway pacing though might be a little bit different in Skyway launches, because there's certain things you do at certain times, and you can really nullify your extension by launching at the wrong time, and putting yourself into a situation where you can't get another Skyway. So it'll be a little thing to adapt to, but I do think this was getting a lower amount of sparks with Goose seems pretty ridiculous, and it's faster now. So this is what kills the front runs. This Goose's Skyway first Skyway just completely erases the front run. Where it used to be in the stacked lobby, it was more so that, you know, Fox would lose pace in the front run towards the end of the race, and you get buried. Now you just get buried right away from the Skyway. So that's kind of a big change. That's why Fox needs to play for the Skyway more now. And then KO power meter changes. So before, this is a good change. I'm not sure how much it really affects Goose, because I'm not sure how many people were really trying to stack, or if it's, you know, it's in stacked lobbies, it's generally pretty tough to get these KOs. It's a risky thing. So, but it was ridiculous if you ever got, I mean, 3 was really good. Like I said before, 4 was just ridiculous. You basically couldn't lose with 4. Like, you have so much more boost than anyone. It was just ridiculous. So, I think that was a good change all around. I don't really think, I'm not sure how it really impacts all the machines though. It's just, I don't know really, besides like a couple players. I mean, was anyone more than Island getting like 4 ever? You know, it was just, so it's good in a sense for the World Tour, but, and even it does take away someone from even the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, so it's good, but how it applies to every machine, I'm not totally certain how that impacts all the machines individually, but it's a good change nevertheless, and I do like that it's less for Goose, because it got completely insane once if Goose got lucky and got too many KOs, and then would just have infinite boost. It at least takes more time to get that, and no one's gonna go for, you know, maximum of 12 KOs. In general, just my opinion on Goose, that it's really playing God mode. Like, what isn't the Goose the best at? And not just like, it's just completely dominant at. It's like you've immortality basically inside playing in the pack, where the other machines get ragdolled and pinballed across the, you know, you get into the barriers and into reds. So, like, a lot of times I'm just trying to make like a normal racing play around a red, and I get hit like flying across the entire course and into the red, and it's just like, well, you know, if I was Goose, that wouldn't have happened. And this is, you know, why everyone plays Goose, is for the defense. It's just so it's good that they improved the defense of the other machines, but Goose is still completely dominant in that category. And really overall, it's just the easiest machine to play with. Its meta's not even going to really change. It's still it's the same pattern you'll be doing as before. So it's just going to have faster Skyways and better extensions. So I really don't think anyone's going to change off of Goose. I know everyone's going to try to play the machines they've always tried to play, but I was hoping for a patch maybe that would give some kind of ridiculous buff to another machine that would be like, now do I have to make my change here off of Goose? Really, but it always goes in one direction. Everyone eventually becomes a Goose main, so we'll see how things play out in the other courses. As of right now, I still see Goose as being in their toughest lobbies, just being completely dominant like it's been. Where, I mean, it's a lot of times 16 Gooses are in the finale, and it's just, I find myself having a really tough time even like getting to finale finishing race 4 when I'm not Goose, just because you just get overpowered. And when they had like KOs, it's just like, how can I compete with that? I'm at default energy. They have more energy and they have better everything than my machine. How am I going to beat these people? So we'll see how things play out now. There's a lot of meta changes that happen with the Skyway, so still think Goose is the best machine, but let's see how beatable it is. Now going into the mini world tour, and I wanted to play through the whole week before I even like made a video on this. So now that just finished, at least the first session, there's gonna be another one. I forget what date that was, but it's kind of be a recurring thing. It's really the same thing that happened in the last one, so really they just took away 2 of the finale tracks, so maybe you like it, maybe you don't. That's a little shorter. Basically the game balance is the same, but now I think Fox is worse because of the KO changes, because it was more significant for Fox to front run before. And the Skyways now just completely collapse on Fox. If you're in a legit stacked lobby, like, you cannot front run with Fox in this mode. It's just not doable. Especially if Island is in your lobby, like, there's just no way you're out front running him. So my suggested balances is make each machine more unique, give category bonus points for machines to incentivize going for a specific thing. So this would just be like how there are points for different things. Maybe just kind of like, maybe lap points should count for more. Maybe some machines should have higher different ways, like gem points, or just like any type of how different points are calculated. Maybe there shouldn't even be a new category for points. So, and that's just something to think about, because maybe it's just like you would play, you know, differently if you had a different incentive. And Falcon and Stingray start with extra energy. I think they were the 2 worst. I actually had better success with Falcon, but that might have just been lobby strength. I didn't have any of the super geese in the lobbies I won with Falcon, and that makes a significant difference. And Stingray, I ended up not winning one stacked lobby with Stingray, even though I got over 10k a few times with Stingray. The geese got like 11,000, because it's not only just they're better. I mean, the players who won were also using degen tax, which we'll go into later. And openers is once again in every mode. Remove jump pad opener. What held me back really with Stingray is just like the jump pad opener, with how the game is played in such fast pace of 3 laps and the gems and the lap points. If you start near last place because of the jump pad opener, you start second row, like, you're gonna get no points. Like, I would get like 500, 600 points those races, and if you can't have a dud race like that and compete, it's just like, it wasn't your fault in any way. You just couldn't get a start from the opener because of how the opener is laid out. So it's just a bad design. Then going into degen tactics, we kind of had this debate of what should be allowed and what the devs can do to fix it. You know, how I see it is it's a category problem. In every speedrunning game, it gets, it gets divided into categories because people don't want to play a certain way. It says, like, if people are doing like wall clips and stuff to skip checkpoints or whatever, like glitch through the game in any way, it's just like there's a lot of people who just don't want to play that way. So like playing that way is, you have to separate the categories for everyone, to be playing the mode they want to play with the people who are playing the same way. So that's why it's a big problem. In the public, there's nothing you can really do about it. I think in the F-Zero Discord, we should have really worked towards organizing something where people didn't do that. I don't believe in the "we can't police" statement. That doesn't make any sense. If you're from our Discord, obviously we know what you're doing. We can see you in spectator mode. And then, like, we just don't add your points if we see you sitting in the pit brake boosting. So it's just one kind of like, if you're playing with a group of people, like, how do you play a game with a group of people? You all decide on the rules. And, you know, if people don't play by the rules, you can't play the game. It just doesn't, you know, it doesn't work. People don't want to, if people are playing and not, it's like basketball. If you play basketball and one person decides, I don't have to dribble the ball, well, it's like, I don't want to play with that person. So that's kind of how I felt with people doing this. It's like, well, you're not going to race the game and you're going to beat me every time. That's not really fair for me. It's like, why do I want to play with you? So I think the devs can do something. I'd reduce the amount of time driving backwards to disqualify the player. It's too long right now, where they essentially can drive all the way from the finish line in Firefield all the way back around the curve to the refiller. And they could still do it with wall bounces that kind of don't trigger the going backwards notification. So it just make it tougher though, because there's no reason to be driving backwards that long. And if it's possible to even program a way to stop the other ways of stalling the game, maybe or just come up with a way where you can't just intentionally race 2 laps, then get all the gems 3rd lap while even collecting some smoking grays to pick up KOs. So these players will not race like the first 2 races in the finale, and they end up scoring more points on these while not racing, and potentially in the first courses getting trailing smoking grays for KOs. So it's like, by them not playing the same way as you, they're winning. So it's bad for the game, and I thought it was bad for an individual community to allow such type of gameplay. And there's some going to generalities about the version 1.6 game balance. With 1.6 being released as mostly Mirror Ace Weekend, followed by the Mini World Tour, I've not been able to play enough and experience how every machine performs on every GP. The Skyway buffs are significant and will cause meta changes that aren't worked out yet. And if you can see from the video I showed with Fox, that really caught me by surprise. I really thought I had that race. I had the perfectly timed Skyway to get the triple zipper out of the end of the refiller, and that was usually just like a free win after that, but not anymore. So we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of courses to play out and a lot of things to see how things play out. The Mirror Ace, I was impressed by the advanced track design changes and not just mirroring them. So really good. And just some tracks just to throw some shade at them. Mirror Mute City 1 and Mirror Red Canyon 1 are both poorly designed tracks. They're just not good. Like, and you can see the way good mirror tracks have been designed, it just shows why they were flawed like that. So, and how much better they can do. So, with how things are, it's just unfortunate. You know, just some tracks just aren't good, but it shows at least they can make better tracks and more complicated tracks. And I thought those two were just a downgrade from the original. Really, most mirror tracks I think do play well. Those are kind of just the standouts of just like, what happened here? Why is this, you know, why is this just a bad track? But I guess that just, you know, it's inevitable. It'll happen. Some tracks just aren't good. I've seen every machine win here, but still not certain how I would rank each machine. But with Mirror City 4 being good for Stingray, and was also generally weak for Goose, is now just a Skyway timing challenge instead of a free Fox and Falcon win. So this is kind of like interesting. I don't exactly know what the best timing will be. Like, maybe wait for the one around where you can skip the glass corner and go through all the zippers on the Skyway. Or maybe you want to be a little ahead and hit those zippers and into it to then still get the extension. But either way, you want the extension. And with Fox, it's possible Fox, you actually want a third lap one, then you can really boost the entire fourth lap. maybe that's enough to hold the lead. So some stuff like that needs to be, kind of worked out. And in general, I want to give more Mirror Ace and all their leagues more time to adapt to version 1.6. Maybe in 3 months, the community will be adjusted to the new meta required for each machine. As of right now, Goose is still the machine to beat in stacked lobbies, and I don't think any changes dissuade anyone from changing machines. So I think people in general just play the machines they want to play, and the best opportunity for people to succeed is with Goose. So even a lot of the players who were had their staple machine, like they also use Goose. They just, they're kind of just they play multiple machines now. I've always played all the machines just because I enjoy doing that, but really my best outcomes, and consistently the best, are with Goose. And it's just because it's just a better machine. It's just the only machine really I feel like I can have a higher success with is Mirror or regular Ace with Fox. And I just do well in that one just because like you get that Mute City 4 advantage, and then those are just good Fox tracks in general. So besides that, I don't see any reason not to be Goose other than you just enjoy playing other machine. And there's other courses, like there's higher potentials for machine, and that's kind of debate. It's like, which machine has the highest potential on a course? Well, it's not really Goose, but it ends up being Goose because of the way how the game plays. So, I mean, the highest potential for like near Mute City 3 is Stingray, but I mean, are you good enough to get the 11 spark, line? It's just like, maybe like a few people are, but the rest of the people aren't going to do it, and that even that itself is risky into traffic and all that stuff. And personally with me in that course, like I can't even get to the line. The first lap I like triple boost and there's still like 15 people ahead of me, and I'm like at 0 energy. I get pushed around. So I mean, it's just no gimme to get that line. So I mean, it's just a lot of stuff changed, but I think Goose mostly stayed unchanged, but still the best. Where the other machines are going to have to adapt more to the Skyways, especially I think Falcon and Fox are going to have to change their Skyway patterns more than the other machines. So, but we'll see how it plays out. This is kind of just, like I said, this is just more my first impressions video. I mean, who knows how long it's going to actually take to solidify this and play all the machines, and everyone has like times where we all see, you start seeing the maximum times for each course. So that's still to be seen, but for right now, that's just my take on the 1.6. I'd like to kind of hear more, what other people are experiencing. I know not everyone's playing the same lobbies as me and the same time zone as me, so I play generally with the same people, and I'm Central American time zone, so I generally play at night with those people, and sometimes I can stay up late for the GAT lobbies, which right now are 11 p.m. for me, so that's really a stretch for me to make those. So maybe just people experience different things at different times versus, different lobby strength and different people. So yeah, if everyone just could have their opinions, we'll kind of sort things out, and we'll all adapt to the meta, and then we'll come back here and see if anything's changed.